it was definitely sometimes I just want to just go back in the house and just go to sleep. I'm like, let me just finish these rounds.
Yeah. All right, man. Cody, you're returning back to action. LFA 123, February
Yeah.
4th. You're facing off against Payton Brezinski. How did you get this fight booked? How did this all come together?
Um, L- well, I was just training, getting ready for the fight. LFA just texted me. No, Iridium just texted me like, hey, we have an opponent for you, and I was ready to go.
All right, simple, man. Simple. No, like looking up the guy, nothing like that.
Well, yeah, of course I got to look him up and everything, and talk to my coaches. But yeah, that's how it all happened though. If they
All
if
right.
they're good with it, I'm good with it.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on Peyton, man, and his journey so far as a professional?
I feel like he's a really good wrestler. He's a really good wrestler, really good grappler. Man, very aggressive. That's kind of my thoughts on him.
And what have your coaches said about
Uh,
him?
they said the same thing. He's a really good
Mhm.
wrestler. He transitions good with his takedowns and stuff. So, yeah.
All right, man. I just wanted to go over some of the things in your career. You made your pro debut during the pandemic in 2020.
Yeah.
Was that the plan the whole time?
No. It was just something. A fight came up and it was the right opponent. So we took it. We took it. It wasn't a lot of fights going on. So yeah, it was. Yeah. So we took it.
So did you feel like you were gonna go continue your amateur career a little bit more, or just like at that point you're thinking, okay, I need to make my pro debut anytime, any opportunity that comes up?
Not any opportunity that comes up, but yeah, I think I was pretty done with the amateurs though. I yeah, I think I showed my coaches that I was ready to go to the next level.
Was that a decision that you made, or was that a kind of a collective decision to go professional?
It was my coach's decision to go professional, and like obviously I want to go professional, and I'm just waiting for their waiting to see what they think.
And how did you know? How did you know that you needed to go professional? How did you know you need to leave the amateurs behind?
Well, I defended my state title 3 times.
Mhm.
Well, I won the title and I defended it twice, and the pandemic was going on. There wasn't a lot of shows happening, and that was the right opponent. And I fought a lot of good amateurs, and my amateur career had a lot of good experience. I just didn't do MMA. I did boxing. I did kickboxing.
Mhm.
Um, I did a lot of grappling tournaments where I saw a lot of different styles. So it was just time.
How did boxing and kickboxing, like competing in that martial arts separately benefit you with your mixed martial arts career?
It benefited me because when I did that, I understood why hitting the bag, shadow boxing, and running, why all those things are so important. Because I lost both of those fights,
Mhm.
and by me losing both of those fights, those helped me become a better mixed martial artist.
Definitely, man. And if you lose, you don't ever want to lose, but if you lose in that, you
Yeah,
could it's kind of like a wash in a way because
yeah.
it doesn't affect your MMA record.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Just like grappling, it's like, oh, like I've seen this kind of guy. Like I'm not a grappler, but it's like it's good to just see that side. Like I don't want to lose, but it's like good to just see like a different compete in a different realm.
Your last fight as a amateur was in February of 2020. I believe like the next month the
Yes.
pandemic went crazy, right? So
Uh,
what was your mind state at that time in March?
I'm like, wow, this is the wow. I'm like, wow, great timing. This is insane. This is crazy.
So
I
what
just
was your
kept training.
situation like at that time?
Well, I just kept training. Just kept working out. Just kept working out. Our gym was shut down for a little bit, but I trained by myself. I was running on the treadmill. I was running my sprints on my own, hitting my back on my own. I was just doing what I could, but yeah, it was definitely challenging though.
Yeah, motivating yourself when you're home alone, that is very difficult.
Yeah, it was definitely some time I just want to just go back in the house and just go to sleep. I'm like, let me just finish these rounds.
Yeah. I think like 99% of people don't even step outside their house. So you
Man,
know you won just by going outside.
yeah.
All right, so you make your debut in December of 2020. You go in there, get the decision win. What did you think about the performance? Did you have nerves, heading into that fight since
um,
it counts?
I think everybody has nerves. But it was just I just had to just be ready just to attack them. Like I just can't sit there and wait because that's when it's gonna give me like I like. Of course, I'm nervous. Like if I'm nervous and I'm waiting for it, it's gonna get me. I have to go out there and attack. I have to go out there and be first. So that was like kind of like my mindset.
And
Like
then after that, 2021, 3 fights, 3
yeah,
wins. You continue your undefeated streak.
yeah.
If you could like express like what 2021 was for you, how would you express it?
Um, man, 2021. It was 2021. It was kind of a lot because it was kind of weird because in the beginning of the year I wasn't fighting a lot, and
Mhm.
then next I signed with Iridium in God I think May. I think I signed with them in May. I know it's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram. I have it somewhere. And then I was fighting in July for a combate.
Mhm.
And then I won that fight if I finished. And then next month I'm fighting at Cage Warriors in August. Like they're just giving me fights. I'm like, okay, I'll take them. Shoot, I'll take them. And then next October I'm fighting at LXF in the hometown. That was great. It was great fighting in front of the home fans.
Yeah, getting a management company behind you, it does change a lot for a fighter. It kind of lifts the weight of just trying to find competition for you, right?
Yeah, the right competition too.
Mhm. And fighting in front of your hometown.
Yeah.
What about the pressure of that?
Um. Yeah, it was pressure, but it was also like I felt like the energy too.
Mhm.
I felt like energy, like everybody was behind me as well. So that was great. That was great. So that was a great experience.
I forgot. I think it was Derek Lewis. I mean, his last title fight was in Houston against Cyril Gahn, and he said that he didn't want to fight in Houston, and that's his hometown because he just felt like too much pressure,
Yeah,
and he just doesn't perform well. But for you, you love that energy. You want that.
I feel like there is pressure because you don't want to like let like the people down that like from your
Mhm.
hometown, but it's like also it's like best of both worlds. Like you feel the energy, but then also like there's also pressure too because I'm like, man, I don't want to let these people down. I think it's like kind of like I think it just depends on you. Depends on you.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Man, fighters are the bravest, man. I'm telling you, because like just fighting somebody else, unarmed combat
Yeah,
is just crazy. If you just think about it from a regular person's point of view, it's just
yeah,
like unbelievable to, it's like Mission Impossible for those people.
yeah,
But then fighting in front of people that you love and they support you, and
yeah.
there's always that aspect of disappointment if you lose,
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
that always sits there. Yeah.
Yeah, it always sits there, right? So it's like, man, you gotta respect it. For yourself, man, you're undefeated so far. Toughest fight to date.
My toughest one. Um, I think I'll probably say about I think it's a tie between two of them. I'll probably say my Cage Warriors one, my rematch.
Mhm.
That was pretty tough, and I'll probably say I think the Cage Warriors one was toughest because like I like that was a rematch, and yeah, and like he already knew who I was, and like and I had won the first match, and
Mhm.
so he was coming back to fight harder. So yeah, I think that one was my toughest.
Did you feel that when you were in there, like
Yeah,
mixing it up with him?
yeah, I was like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing the same moves. I'm like, oh, he's not falling for this stuff anymore. So I think that one was my toughest.
Then what did you do? Like, what kind of adjustments did you make? Because, like you said, you're doing the same thing. You think you're gonna get him out real quick, and then you got to
No,
make some changes.
yeah, I was expecting like like he was like a pressure forward fighter, and he was
Mhm.
like, oh, he always came forward. So like the first time we fought, he was kind of like he was letting me escape all the time. This time he didn't let me escape. He just kept like just how can I say it? He just he was kind of closing the distance. He wasn't letting me escape off the cage. So that's what made it different. And like he also it was harder for me to get my takedowns and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that one was probably my toughest fight.
Like, which fight did you go in there with a certain like objective and you kind of did everything perfectly and you got the victory? Which fight was that?
Um, I would say it's funny. I'll say it's out of two of them. My combate fight, my coach and I was fighting a taller striker, and my coach Chad, he wanted me to get him on the ground. He wanted me to get him on the ground, and we were drilling the same thing over and over, pinning him against the cage, like pinning him against the cage and getting him on the ground. And I will say my amateur fight against the same guy, Enrique Marte, which I fought in Cage Warriors. He just light on my feet, touching and always touching.
Coach Chad George, man. He just
Yeah,
recently just a documentary came out on him. I
yeah,
remember I interviewed him ahead of
yeah,
that, the
yeah,
release of that. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. Great
yeah.
coach,
That's good.
a former fighter, an OG of the sport, man. How beneficial has it been to have someone like him? You know what I mean? Because it's different. He's a different type of coach. He's a
Yeah,
coach that has fought at the highest level
yeah,
and then has had years of refinement of coaching, and then you
yeah,
get in there and you get the benefit off of that.
yeah. Just man, man, it's great having him in there. It's great having him in there. He knows what to expect. He's like it's like words can't explain. Can't explain having him. Like
Yeah,
he
it's like
knows.
you could ask him anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. He knows what it takes to get to that next level.
And he can still mix it up with you, which
Exactly.
is different from a lot of coach. You know, like old school boxing coaches, they're like just they don't box you, they don't spar you. They're sitting on the side of the ring telling you what to
No,
do, right? But in
no.
MMA, it's different.
Chad's still dangerous.
Yeah, he's still. I think isn't he still grappling doing grappling competitions?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is. He still grapples with us and everything. He still spars, hits the bag and everything. Look like he hasn't even aged.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's aged that much at all. And CMMA, man, tell me the origin story of that. Like you going into that gym.
Well, at first I was training in Wisconsin because I went to school in Wisconsin, and then I graduated from Marion University in Wisconsin. And I came back home because I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and I was looking for a gym. I'm like, oh, CMA is right by my house, so I went in there, and then I just started. I went in there. I went to jujitsu, and next thing you know, I was just started doing jujitsu with all the guys in there. Started to make friends, and then next you know, all my friends were fighting. Then I'm like, oh, birds that fly together, like you are who you hang out with. So I started to fight as well. Started to compete, and that's how I got here.
All right. Now, like you said, this is how you got here, LFA 123.
Yeah.
Well, how do you see yourself extending your undefeated streak?
I think it'll be a fast and action packed
Mhm.
fight because Payton is I see he's very aggressive. And I think, yeah, I see he's very aggressive. There's a lot of action going on in this fight. So that's how I see the fight.
And after such a great 2021, what are your expectations for 2022?
Just same, just consistency. That's
Mhm.
all. Just, I want to stay consistent in my training, um, consistent in the things I'm doing. That's because that's what I have control of. So, of course, I want like some big things to happen, but I want to stay consistent with my training, consistent with like me working out.
All right, a couple more questions outside of your fight. Judging, judging has been something that has been under the microscope. You've been to the judges quite a few times.
Yeah.
Open scoring is starting to be utilized more and more around the world.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on open scoring and how do you think it will impact fights?
I like it because you'll know where you're at.
Mhm.
You'll know where you're at. You won't have to guess is he winning? Is he losing? Or yeah, like a jiu-jitsu tournament. Like you can always see the score. You can always see the score up there, and you know where you're at. even though you shouldn't approach the fight that way, you should approach the fight to finish at at all times. But it's yeah, I don't have a problem with open scoring.
As an athlete, man, as a up and coming fighter, the core group surrounding you is extremely important, right?
Yeah.
And so, how difficult is it to tell the difference between negativity and constructive criticism?
I don't know. I think it depends on who it's coming from, but I think that's like it's kind of like a feeling thing
Mm.
or something. I think it depends on who's it's coming from, you know. So like if it's coming from somebody I've been around with, like I don't know. Like I think it depends on who it's coming from, and how it's said,
Mhm.
and how it's said. Yeah, I think that's like the difference.
Yeah, because even like someone really close to you could be a hater. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm just saying.
yeah. I think it depends on how it's said.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And
Let me try to get in this light more. I'm sorry.
it's all good, man. We're done, man. February 4th, LFA 123. Cody, appreciate the time, man, and good luck on the fight, man. Extending that undefeated streak.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.